Hey, in this video, we're gonna help you pass Security Plus. Hey gang, it's Rob from ITMasterKey.com, and my job is to help each and every one of you guys get certified. So in this video, we're gonna be going over some questions and some answers for Security Plus. If you don't know, Security Plus is a super popular certification and it can really help you in your cybersecurity journey. It's actually the first certification that most people go after when they want to start their cyber career. You recently got hired at Jimmy's Jump House. Karen is taking you through the OnBroad process. Of the following, what would outline what's allowed on the network? An OTP, an SLA, an AUP, or an SSO. Now this one is pretty straightforward, but there's acronyms. Remember, acronyms. Acronyms will be on the actual exam. There's gonna be a bunch of acronyms. You gotta be careful that you know what those acronyms stand for. So in this instance, it would be an AUP. AUP stands for Acceptable User Agreement. So that literally says what's acceptable on the network and what's not acceptable on the network with the devices, with the other employees, so on and so forth. Jenny has put in an incorrect password 5 times. A message is displayed stating her account will be unavailable for the next 24 hours. What most likely has been implemented? Would it be account lien, account lock-in, account break, or account lockout? So what's been implemented is account lockout. When you are a system administrator, when you have power over users, you want to have a couple fail safes in place to protect those users. So if somebody's trying to guess their password, do some extra stuff, do some weird stuff, account lockout may be one of those fail safes. Because if you know your damn password, it shouldn't take you 5 attempts to log into your account. So if somebody's trying to compromise that account, you can have account lockout actually implemented or turned on, and after those 5 attempts is going to lock the account, and you as the system administrator, you as the person that has power over the users, is the only person that can unlock that account. Your network has recently been exposed to malicious software. The incident response team has contained and eradicated the malware. What's next? Lessons learned, after action review, recovery, or reduction. So once you've contained the malware and eradicated and got rid of the malware, the next step would be to recover, to get back to where you were. So if things were damaged, if things were deleted, if things were messed up, you want to make sure that you recover things so you can go back to the state that you were at before the incident happened. Tina is a new intern for the Neptune company. She goes out to the parking lot for some fresh air, where she finds a USB flash drive laying on the ground. She decides to pick up the USB flash drive and take it back inside. Curiosity gets the best of her and she decides to plug the drive into her work laptop. Soon thereafter, she gets a notification stating malware detected. The malware seems to be replicating itself over and over again. What type of malware does this describe? Does it sound like a worm? Does it sound like a Trojan? Does it sound like bloatware? Does it sound like a replica? So this most likely is a worm. So a worm's main purpose is to duplicate itself. So there's 1 worm, 2 worms, 10 worms, 10,000 worms if you don't stop this virus in its tracks, right? So this type of malware is all bad. Like I said, it will not only affect your device, it'll actually try and replicate throughout the network if you're connected to a network. So the best thing to do, first thing, unplug your device from the network or disconnect from Wi-Fi just to make sure it only propagates on that device. Then turn the device off, and then if you're part of the incident response team, do what you need to do. If you're not, make sure that you get in contact with the proper personnel so they can get rid of that stuff for you. Jan has illegally obtained secure information about Billy's Bowling Equipment's CEO, CTO, and CFO. Jane could have taken data from mid-level executives, but decided to only target personnel she deemed as most important. This type of attack would be considered what? Whaling, spear phishing, linkage, none of these. All right, gang, so this would be whaling. So whaling is going after the biggest, the most important, the crucial characters or the crucial companies that would be most important to an organization. So whether it's Google, whether it's Billy's Bowling Equipment, whatever company it is, if you're going after the most important people in that company, that would be called whaling. So we already know what phishing is. Phishing just pretty much is you trying to fish for information, whether it's the secretary, the security guard, or the CEO. Wherever you get, you get. Spear phishing is a little bit more calculated, so I want to get maybe this guy or that guy, but importance doesn't really matter. I just know I want this person. But whaling is specific to the most important people in an organization, and you want to get that information out of them. You want to get that information from them. You want to attack the most important, crucial personnel in that organization. Karen was involved in what seemed to be a horrific accident. The alleged incident was all caught on tape. The video went viral across the internet. Soon thereafter, Karen set up a YouFundMe account to receive donations to pay for her medical bills. An influx of donations poured into her account. Soon thereafter, Karen was arrested for fraud due to faking the entire incident. What has Karen just pulled? A prank, a hoax, a bump? None of these. Simply put, gang, it is a hoax. So no further explanation really needed. It was a hoax. She was lying, tried to get the bag. She got the bag. Now she got to go to jail. A blank attack is a security exploit in which the attacker seeks to compromise a specific group of end users by infecting websites that members of the group are known to visit. Would it be an SQL dump? Would it be typo squat? Would it be DNS leak? Would it be a watering hole attack? All right, gang, so this is a watering hole attack. This is when somebody spies on you. This is when somebody knows the sites that you frequent a lot, the sites that you go to every day, the sites that you are going to be on for sure. And they'll put some type of malware on that website to compromise you. So a watering hole is a term that's been used for a long time for where people meet up, where people like to hang out. So that's where the name watering hole attack comes from. They know these are the sites that you like to visit, so they're gonna make sure they have malware on each one of these sites until you click on one of them and get it. Ryan has been anticipating the new Bolo 6 game for months. It finally releases and Ryan downloads it immediately. As soon as the game downloads, he attempts to play online only to get continuous errors. If he checks online forums to find that nearly everyone who purchased the game is unable to play online. The makers of the game console blast out a tweet stating that the servers are at capacity and have gone down. This is a classic example of which of the following: brute force, DOS, DDoS, MITM. All right, gang, so every server has a capacity. Let's say that the gaming server could handle 100,000 users a minute. 100,000 users, we good. Any more than that, it goes down. So this happens a lot when new games come out. This happens a lot even with Netflix or Disney or any of those types of services when it's something new and it's an influx of people trying to watch something, an influx of people trying to use it. So DOS stands for denial of service. So denial of service means just that. You denied that service, and the reason that you denied that service is because it's reached capacity. 100,000 people can be on there at once, but 250,000 people are trying to get on there. The server can't do it. The server don't know what's going on. It's overworked. It just shuts down. It's not letting anybody on because there's way too many people trying to request access to that server at that time. Jasmine is currently interning for a startup in her hometown. She is trying to log into the company's portal to update several log events. Every time she enters the URL, she is rerouted to a site she's never seen before. The site requests credit card information. She tries the website on several other computers with the same result. What most likely has happened? Typo jacking, DNS poisoning, server retargeting, ARP adjustment. What most likely has happened is the DNS has been poisoned, right? So when you poison a DNS, instead of the DNS pointing to the website that you wanted to go to, instead of the website resolving to the website that you wanted to go to, it actually retargets and repositions and goes to another website. So the DNS, right? The name DNS is domain name service, right? So domain name service or server or system, whichever one you want to put in there, right? But the main purpose of the DNS is to resolve a website name to an IP address or an IP address to a website name. So every website has an IP address. The IP address is just the address on the network. That's what the computer is looking for. But since humans aren't built to memorize a bunch of numbers, that's why the websites come up. Whether it's Google, ESPN, itmagicKey.com, everything has an IP address. The DNS server looks for the IP address, then looks and sees what website name actually correlates to that IP address. Boom, the website comes up. Now, if you poison a DNS, instead of the correct website coming up, it's going to retarget to a completely different website in hopes that it'll be able to compromise somebody. Now, a message from our sponsors. Hey gang, it's Rob, and I'm super excited to introduce the Winner's Circle program. It's our all new program, and you guys are actually the first ones to hear about it. So we're going to start enrolling in the Winner's program on the 1st of February. 1 February is when we're going to start enrolling. So what is the Winner's Circle? The Winner's Circle is an immersive program that helps me take you to the next level as far as IT is concerned. So it includes everything that was in the Zero to Hero program, plus live training, plus resume optimization, plus LinkedIn optimization, plus if you go inside of the testing room or you take the test at home and you fail, things don't go the way you want to, we'll pay for you to take the test again, right? So one of the biggest things is the live sessions. So Rob, your favorite instructor in the whole wide world, actually takes you weekly through the actual course. So you have everything that's in the Zero to Hero program, plus you actually have me as a coach every week teaching you, guiding you, coaching you to make sure that you get the advantage when it goes inside of the actual testing center or taking the actual exam. So with the Zero to IT Hero program, coupled with the winner circle, there's almost no way that you can lose, right? So if you're not familiar with the Zero to IT Hero program, it includes ITF Plus, A Plus, Net Plus, Security Plus, plus 3 bonus Microsoft training courses. We include on-demand training and voucher to take the actual exam. Most students that were in the Zero to IT Hero program were getting their first certification in 30 days. Now, with the winner circle, we're looking at put that down to about a week or 2 for you to get your first certification. So if this sounds like something that you are interested in, go ahead and click apply below and apply to the program. So the Zero to IT Hero program was open enrollment, meaning that you can enroll whenever you want it. This program is going to be a little bit more exclusive. We're only opening up a certain amount of slots every month to let students enroll. This month, I think we're opening up 12 slots. Once those slots are filled, it's over with. And pretty much throughout the year, sometimes it may be 7 slots, sometimes it may be 10 slots, sometimes it may be no slots at all. So long story short, do not wait, apply. And another thing, everybody that applies will not be accepted, okay? Everybody that applies will not be accepted. Even if you're not accepted, we'll give you some guidance on a way that you can actually break into IT. It may just not be with us. Like I said, we just want the best and the brightest and the people that we feel would be best for the program. So we want what's best for us and also what's best for you, right? So if that sounds good to you, click apply below. And other than that, I'll see you in class. Ronnie has found a software vulnerability that allows him to elevate his privileges. The vulnerability has not been patched or made known to the public. Ronnie exploits the vulnerability to gain access to company data. What type of attack has Ronnie performed? 0-day, Trojan exploit, Trojan horse, Smurf. So this would be a 0-day attack. So a 0-day attack are vulnerabilities that are there soon as the software, as soon as the device comes off of the production line. So unfortunately, a lot of times things may be rushed, things may not be quality tested up to the amount that we want it to be tested just to get the things to market. So the developers, the creators may know this isn't as secure as we want it to be, or this may not be as great as we want it to be. Let's just put it on the market and see what happens. So since hackers, cyber criminals, people in general who want to do bad stuff know this, as soon as something comes off of the assembly line, as soon as a product comes out, as soon as software comes out, hackers will start hacking away at it to see what the vulnerabilities are. And if they have prior information to know, like, okay, they left a back door, they left this code out, they did this, they did that, this framework isn't as secure as it's supposed to be, they can actually go after that and go ahead and take over those vulnerabilities. And a 0-day attack is literally taking the vulnerabilities that are in this software, in these devices from day one and exploiting them. Angel works in HR on the northwest corridor of Comet Connections. This side of the building is notorious for having horrible Wi-Fi. She decides to bring an access point from home in hopes it would boost the Wi-Fi signal. She begins to plug in the access point when she's stopped by the CSO. What will the chief security officer most likely tell her about the AP? So this would have been part of the acceptable use policy that, hey man, you can't bring stuff from the house and connect it to the network. So most likely that would be considered as a rogue access point. If it's an access point that the security team, that the network team didn't actually put on that network, that is considered a rogue access point, and that is a no-go. You're not supposed to do that. Shame on you. You should have read the damn AUP. You know we're not supposed to be doing that. So a rogue access point literally means that this access point that I took from the house, hey, I want to be cool, I'm gonna plug it up on this network. Right now, I just want to take a little bit of time, just a little bit, and thank each and every one of you guys for subscribing to the channel, for liking this video and sharing it with anybody who can benefit. I also want to send a special shout out to Jesse, Tim, and a few others. I'm sorry if I didn't name you, who actually joined the channel as members. It's very much appreciated. If you're looking for training, if you're looking for coaching, if you want to join the program, everything is down in the description. Other than that, I'll see you in class. Hey gang, in this video, I'm gonna help you pass Security Plus. Hey gang, it's Rob, and my job is to help each and every one of you guys get certified. So if you're looking to get into cybersecurity, one of the certifications that probably pop up is Security Plus. It's actually one of the most popular certifications when it comes to cybersecurity, and it's the #1 certification according to the Department of Defense. Actually, if you want to work for the Department of Defense, a lot of times you have to be Security Plus certified for them to even think about giving you the job. So Security Plus is not easy. It's not easy at all. And I tell my students that they probably should go after A+ and Net Plus before they even think about tackling Security Plus. Now, can you take Security Plus and pass it without any prior knowledge or any prior certifications? Yeah, it's people on the moon. Anything is possible. But I think the best thing for you to do is get certifications and then start applying for positions, applying for things that correlate to that certification so you can get experience along the way, right? So if you get A+, get a help desk job, get a server administrator job. If you get Network Plus, get a networking job, get a so on and so forth, right? So you get experience. So by the time you get to Security Plus, you've worked in an environment, you worked in a team, you've had hands-on experience. And Security Plus, once you get that piece of paper, it'll be a lot easier because you kind of have that troubleshooting down, you have that analytical thinking down, and then it just helps you go a lot further, a lot faster if you get those certifications before, right? Now, at first it may seem like you're going slower, like, damn, I just want to get Security Plus. But from what I've seen, including myself, when I began my journey, getting A+ and Network Plus first helps Security Plus be a lot easier, and I think it works a lot better over the long term. Before we get into the question and answer, I just want to thank the people that's actually joined the channel. If you want to join the channel, you can click the join button down below. I appreciate all you guys' support. Also, we've had a ton of new students. I want to welcome you guys to the family. My job, as I said at the beginning of this video, is to help you guys get certified. And at Master I.T, I'm doing just that. So other than that, let's go ahead and get straight into the questions. Mike is a marketing genius who is well respected. He spends $100,000 on a targeted email campaign. His target is Frank's Furniture. Weeks pass and none of the emails reach a single employee. What most likely happened? He should have spent more money. He has the wrong email list. The mail gateway recognizes the email as spam and is disregarding them. The network is IPsec-X enabled. So gang, most email platforms, whether it's Google, Yahoo, whatever you decide to use, actually has a spam filter. Some of the stuff may go to promotions, some of the stuff may go to malicious, some of the stuff may go to so on and so forth, right? So a lot of different email platforms have filters to where they can kind of read the email, look at the verbiage, look at the pictures, and kind of tell, okay, this is a promotion, this is an advertisement, this is something that this person may not want in their inbox. So let me go ahead and put it to spam. Erica is a system administrator for Blue Chip Company. She is creating an account for an employee that will primarily work in the front office. Erica gives the employee full control on all folders on the shared drive. What problems can administration errors such as this one lead to? Access abroad, data theft or deletion, RFID error, no issues would be found. So gang, when you actually are in a position to be a system administrator and you're actually giving people permissions, you always want to go with the principle of least privilege, meaning that you want to give them the minimum amount of privilege that they need to complete their job, right? If this person is a janitor, they don't need full control of the server, right? So just make sure that when you get in the real world that you actually give people the least amount of privileges, the least amount of permission that they need to do what they got to do. Because if not, even if it's by mistake, even if they just clicking stuff, don't know what they're doing, they can delete stuff, they can move stuff, they can see confidential stuff, they can have access to stuff that they should not see. So the principle of least privilege would be the best to avoid deletion, moving around, or just having access to stuff that they shouldn't have access to. Clara is using FTP to send data throughout her network. She has been working on a huge project for months. The day before the project is set to launch, she gets an email from her competitor with all the information she sent to her team over the last few months. How is this even possible? The competitor uses Scope to see the data. The competitor uses Sniffer to capture the clear text data. The competitor is performing a hoax. The competitor is using wire snake. Okay, gang, real simple. A sniffer just means that somebody can actually see the information that you're sending. And since the information was sent in clear text, he didn't have to decipher anything. He didn't have to decrypt anything. He could literally see everything that was sent to her entire team. So that was going to give him an advantage to be able to move on stuff before she was able to steal her ideas, so on and so forth. So that answer would be that he was probably using a sniffer just to decode or just to see all the information that she was sending to her team. Angel has just finished updating settings on her existing wireless router. For some reason, new devices cannot find the name of the wireless router to connect, but old ones are connecting with no issue. What most likely is happening? Router firmware is corrupted. SSID is not broadcasting. Passphrase is out of sync. The WP button is depressed. So gang, the SSID simply put is the name of the network. Now, if you're not broadcasting the SSID, new devices wouldn't be able to find your network. Older devices that were already connected to the router would be able to pick it up because it would be remembered in their cache of routers that they had connected to. So if you're not broadcasting, new stuff wouldn't be able to see it, but old stuff would be able to see it. Mr. Davidson is concerned about zero-day attacks exploiting the network. Of the following options, which is best to guard against unknown threats? Put a content filter at IPS source, run cloud diagnostic sync with NPS, behavior-based IPS with direct link to cloud threat feed, anomaly-based ISP. For this one, we're going to say a behavior-based intrusion prevention system server and have it linked to a cloud feed, right? So the cloud is constantly sending this IPS updates on new threats, new things, new baselines, the way that the network should be reacting, the way that software should be reacting to keep it on its toes at all times. So that would be the best way to pretty much judge the baseline of how things are supposed to go and the behavior, the normal behavior of the network and people on the network against the baseline, against the threats that are in the cloud that keep on feeding the IPS. Hey, this is a new threat, make sure we don't have this. Hey, this is a new threat, make sure we don't have this, so on and so forth. Hey gang, before we get to the next question, here's our sponsors. Hey gang, this is Rob, and if you're looking for coaching, if you get all the certifications, I'm proud of you, but if you need coaching on resume writing, if you need coaching on where your actual career should go, if you need coaching on motivation, how to stay in it, how to win it, you can drop in the link below, hop on my calendar, if I have space, hop on my calendar and we can sit down, we can chop it up and I can help you along the way. Now, if you're looking to get into training, there's also another link that you can go ahead and apply to the program. Make sure that you apply as soon as possible because as soon as slots fill up, they fill up and you have to wait until our next iteration or our next enrollment period. Other than that, I'll see you in the video. Tim, an analyst, has developed code for a new program. The program is currently being evaluated by team members. The feedback from Tim's team members will be used to improve any issues with the code. What is this process called? Gray box testing, white box testing, peer review, or baseline? So you guys are super smart, so you already know it's peer review. Peer review, real simple, means that your peers, your coworkers, people that are in the same space as you, look over what you've done, they give you critiques, they give you feedback, and with that feedback, you go and take that back to your code, or you take that back to your team, or you take that back to whatever you're working on and try and implement whatever fixes that they have for you. You are currently conducting a non-credential vulnerability scan. Of the following, which would most likely appear? Inactive local accounts, self-sign code, new patches, or audit programming? And a non-credentials vulnerability scan, you're literally looking for the people who are accessing the machine, the people who have access to the machine, who don't have to necessarily be credentialed, don't have to have credentials, don't have to enter credentials. And that would be people that have a local sign-on account. So they have a local user account, not through the network, not across anything else, but right there on the machine, they have an account that can directly access the machine. So you own Wally's warehouse and want to purchase insurance in case your warehouse is damaged. What are you doing in regards to risk? Are you mitigating? Are you transferring? Are you multiplying? Or are you avoiding? All right, gang, so in this case, if you have insurance, you're transferring the risk from yourself to the actual insurance company. All right, so risk mitigation, risk compliance, risk transference, risk avoidance, all that stuff is going to be a big part of your job when you get into cybersecurity after you get Security Plus certified. So gang, I got a really quick story for you. So when I first was going after Security Plus, I think the first version of Security Plus I took may have been in the 3 or the 400s. I think they own 601 now. Yeah, they own 601 now. And that test was actually one of the easiest tests I ever took, right? That was one of the easiest tests I ever took. So why was it easy for me, right? I actually made a entire video about this. So the reason that Security Plus was one of the easiest certifications I ever took was because I took so many certifications before that. I had took A+, I had failed A+, I had took Network Plus, I had passed Network Plus, and I went ahead and tackled Security Plus. I got all these 3 certifications really just from self-study on my own, a lot of self-study on my own, in about 6 to 7 months, right? That's why in the 0 to Hero program, we pretty much pump people through in about 16 weeks because I know it's doable. So all of the knowledge I got from A+, all the knowledge I got from Network Plus made Security Plus super easy. Well, not super easy. I didn't get a damn perfect score, but it made it a lot easier because just so you know, Security Plus is taught as if you already know all that stuff anyway. It's taught as if you know everything on ITF Plus, A+, Net Plus. So once I got to Security Plus, I didn't really have any jitters because I knew exactly how the testing process went. And a lot of the actual topics from all the previous certifications were on Security Plus. It's just that Security Plus had a focus on security. Makes sense? So long story short, get certified, you'll gain confidence, you'll gain competence, and you will land a gig, right? So the first thing is just to start. If you start with me, fantastic, but you need to start somewhere. Other than that, I'll see you in class. Hey gang, it's Ron from ITMasterKey.com, and in this video, I'm gonna help you pass Security Plus. Security Plus is one of the most popular certifications when it comes to cybersecurity. In fact, it's usually the first cybersecurity certification people go after when they decide that they want to be in cybersecurity. So what is Security Plus? Security Plus is a CompTIA certification. What is CompTIA? CompTIA is a really big IT vendor certification. Actually, I'm a CompTIA partner, meaning that CompTIA trusts me to give you guys what you need in the training program, the winner circle to be exact, to actually pass the Security Plus and A Plus and the Network Plus. So CompTIA is the vendor. So when you go to college, the college is XYZ College. And then the degree programs underneath that are the degree programs. So CompTIA is the college, A Plus, Net Plus, Security Plus would be the degree programs. You understand that correlation? Of course you do. So with Security Plus, I always tell my guys and my girls to get A Plus and Net Plus and then tackle Security Plus. Do you have to do that? Of course not. It's people in a minority that go ahead and take Security Plus first and pass it and knock it out the park. There's 2 reasons that I tell you to get Security Plus after you get that other stuff. Because most likely, if you get A Plus, if you get Net Plus, you're gonna have some experience that goes along with that. So my students, I tell them to get that stuff just so they have a well-rounded knowledge, right? Because even though Security Plus is cybersecurity focused, if you don't have a strong foundation, Security Plus is difficult. And then when you actually get inside the real world and actually start doing cyber stuff, it's gonna make stuff a lot harder if you don't have that foundational support, if you don't have that foundation underneath you. So my guys and my girls, they actually start off with ITF Plus. So they got a super strong foundation, and they get A Plus, and they get Network Plus. Now, like I said, do you have to do that? Not at all. You can go ahead and go straight for Security Plus. So Security Plus is a 90-minute 90 question test. Now you may not get 90 questions. You may get less than that. It's a maximum of 90 questions. And the passing score is 750. 750 out of 900. So every CompTIA exam is on a scale of 900. And you got to get 750 out of 900 to successfully pass the Security Plus. So as I always tell you guys, my job is to help you get certified. So that's what this video is all about. We're going to go through a couple questions and answers just to get you a little bit more acclimated to how you need to be thinking when you actually get inside the testing center and when you actually take the actual exam. You ready? Let's get into it. Blank technology is a capability of a computer system, electronic system, or network to deliver uninterrupted service despite one or more of its components failing. Does that sound like fault tolerance, fault interceptor, scalability, or disruptive allocation? The answer to this is fault tolerance. The more fault tolerance you have, the better. Literally, fault tolerance means that your device, your network is more tolerant to faults. So when things break, it won't actually break completely. When things don't go right, it's actually more tolerant. And the reason it's more tolerant is because you put things in place that make the faults not just crippling. It doesn't actually melt down the whole network. It doesn't actually break the entire system. You have things in place that when one thing goes down, something goes up. This goes down, this comes up. All right, so backups, power supplies, whatever that fault tolerance comes from, it makes the network, it makes the device, it makes the organization a lot stronger if fault tolerance is in place. Make sense? A blank is a form of physical security and is most susceptible to blank attacks. All right, gang, so the form of physical security that we're talking about in this is going to be a security guard. And what's most susceptible to social engineering would be that security guard. So social engineering is a big word that simply means being nosy. So you're just asking a bunch of questions, ask a bunch of probing questions to see if you can get valid information, if you can get valuable information from a person, right? So you befriend or try to befriend a security guard. Hey, how long you been working here? Oh, okay. What time do you get off? Oh, okay. That door over there, is it usually locked? Oh, okay. Oh, you got a security badge? How does that work? Oh, okay. Is this camera up here, is it working? Or so basically it sounds like it's just harmless chitter chatter, but it's actually somebody trying to probe into what you're doing, what you got going on, to use that information against you and your organization. Key escrow is a method of storing important cryptographic keys. A key escrow is like a blank for your user's keys. Cryptographic keys encrypt and decrypt. So make stuff secret and then allows you to read that secret stuff, and only allows you or the person that has the decrypt key to read that stuff. A key escrow would act as a valet. So it would take those keys and store them in a safe place until you return. Now that's what the valet is supposed to do, but I've seen videos on YouTube of valets doing donuts and Lamborghinis and all kind of crazy stuff like that. But a key escrow wouldn't do that to you. It's going to take the key, keep it safe until you return, until you actually need to use it to either encrypt something or decrypt something. Jimmy is doing a scan that detects and classifies system weaknesses in computers, networks, and communication equipment and predicts the effectiveness of countermeasures. What type of scan is Jimmy doing? A vulnerability scan does just that. It scans for vulnerabilities. So it looks for weak points inside of an organization, inside of a network, inside of a device, and it tries to actually alert you, tell you, or whoever actually is in charge that, hey man, you got these vulnerabilities. I found it on this scan. These are some of the things that you could possibly do to prevent these weaknesses and these weak points from compromising your organization. James just got fired from his job as a software engineer. Before turning in his laptop, James starts injecting client-side scripts into web pages of the company's website. What type of scripting is James using? On the actual exam, sometimes they're going to be things that you've never seen before. You've never seen them before, don't remember studying them, and a lot of times that's because it doesn't matter. That's not the answer. They're throwing that in there just to throw you off. So the answer to this is cross-site scripting. Those other answers are just shit I made up, right? So XSS is cross-site scripting. So if you're ever on the exam or if you ever looked at anything, you see XSS, it's just cross-site scripting. The X stands for cross. Cain and Abel is most closely related to which of the following? Cain and Abel is a password cracking tool. And the weaker your password, the easier it is for Cain and Abel to figure out what your password is and to start using it, so on and so forth. There's a lot of password cracking tools, and most of them literally just sit there and they just try and guess your password. Guess until it figures out what your password is. And once it figures out what your password is, it's probably going to use it across as many sites as possible. Because unfortunately, pro tip, make sure that you're not using the same password across everything. Your damn Facebook password should not be your bank password. Your Netflix password should not be your Instagram password. Try to switch it up. Try to be as safe as possible. Make sure that you're using strong passwords across all platforms. Because if you're using the same damn password across all platforms, once a person has one thing, they got everything. Now, a quick message from our sponsors. Speaking about having everything, the Winner Circle has everything. The Winner Circle is our all new program, and we're actually accepting applications right now. If you're familiar with the Zero to Hero program, it's pretty much the Zero to IT Hero program on steroids. So you get everything that was in the Zero to Hero program, plus you get weekly live sessions with me, plus you get to take the exam twice. Let's say that you go in there, you're nervous, your stomach hurt, stuff ain't go right, you can take the exam again on us. Last but not least, we have an industry professional come in once a month and talk to you guys just to tell you how it's going to be when you actually break into IT. As you already know, we got IT Plus, A Plus, Net Plus, Security Plus, plus a bunch of bonus training. And most of the students are getting those 4 certifications that I just talked about in about 120 days, in about 90 to 100 days. So about 3 or 4 months. So if that sounds like that's something that you would want to do, make sure you click the link below. You got to apply, you got to put in your application. And if you accept it, I'll see you in class. Rebecca works for Yosemite Piping Corporation. She receives a call about providing her login details for her account from the IT team. The caller requests she provide her password for an information assurance audit. What should Rebecca do next? When you guys are actually in the field, when you guys are actually working in IT, when somebody calls you, or just in everyday life, if somebody calls you asking you for your password, that's probably a red flag. That's probably somebody that's trying to do something bad to you. But just to verify, just like Rebecca did, she's gonna call the IT department. Hey, y'all calling around asking people for their passwords? The IT department gonna tell her hell no, and then she can hang up the phone and go ahead about her life. The action or process of integrating a new employee into an organization or familiarizing a new customer or client with one's products or services. What does this statement describe? Real simple, onboarding just means getting somebody on board. Hey man, this is how we do things, this is how things are gonna go. So it's pretty much just an introduction to how you do things and how they need to conduct themselves. Gary Reynolds is running for governor. He recently made several controversial statements that upset several groups of people. A hacker named Iron Wolf decided to hack the potential governor's campaign website. Iron Wolf would be best described as a hacktivist, real simple, is a activist who's a hacker. So a lot of times a hacktivist has some kind of political motivation. Just like Mr. Reynolds said something he wasn't feeling, he wanted to go after him as a politician. So usually it's politicians, senators, governors, lawyers, judges. It's people that have some type of political influence or some type of political ties. And the hacktivist actually tries to hack their campaign website or tries to hack something that would pretty much stop them from doing whatever they're trying to do. Do you see how the questions are kind of bouncing around? There's not one common theme. So there's hundreds, literally hundreds of topics on the actual exam. And the way the exam is set up, it's not going to have 10 questions about social engineering and then 5 questions about intrusion detection. It's going to have questions just about a little bit of everything. So that's why you got to be extremely focused, know what to study, know how to prepare, because it's only going to be 90 questions out of hundreds of topics. Which of the following are types of social engineering? Choose all that apply. Phishing is a way to get information from a person, usually via email. So the email isn't going to look professional. It's going to have misspellings, and it's probably going to ask you something crazy. Probably going to say something like, hey man, I got $1 million, but it's tied up in an overseas bank account. I just need to use your account to have the money in there, and just for putting the money in there, I'll give you $50,000. I just need your bank account and your social security number. So that's phishing, kind of casting a wide net, hoping that somebody bite, hoping we get some kind of sucker to take part of this. Now, whaling, usually we don't want to go against anybody. We want to go against the biggest person, right? We want to go for the CEO. We want to go for the biggest company. We want to go for the most important person, right? So whaling is social engineering as well, but you're trying to get information from a super important person. Phishing is like, I'm just trying to get information from anybody. Gang, I want you to do one thing for me. Make sure you watch my last video. It should be popping up somewhere around here. That video can help you break into IT. As always, like this video, subscribe, and other than that, I'll see you in class. Hey gang, in today's video, we're gonna get you ready for the new version of the Security Plus exam. Hey gang, it's Ron from ITMasterKey.com, and if you've never seen me before, hey, how you doing? Glad to meet you. I am the founder and creator of Master I.T, an online training program that's getting students just like you certified. So if you're not aware, depending on when this video drops, either today or in a couple of days, the version of Security Plus, the 501 version of Security Plus, is going to be expired. You're not going to be able to take it anymore, all right? Because that version of Security Plus is retiring. So the new version of Security Plus is the 601, right? So from right now, moving forward, the only version of the exam that you actually can take is going to be the 601. So the 601 exam is going to cover the following. You'll have attacks, threats, and vulnerabilities, architecture and design, implementation, operations and incident response, governance, risk, and compliance. So the actual exam is 90 minutes long, and you'll have a maximum of 90 questions. To pass the Security Plus exam, you'll need a score of 750 out of 900. So if you've never done a test prep with me before, if you've never went through this is how we do it, right? So show you what the question is, show you the various answer types, and then I'll let you figure out what you think the answer is. And then as a family, we figure out what the actual answer is, okay? So if you can do me a quick favor, make sure that you like this video for the YouTube algorithm. And then other than that, man, let's just get straight into the test. Ricky recently started working for Master I.T. He has been in the security field for over 10 years. He specializes in penetration testing. He has been tasked with hardening security for a law firm. The client at the firm has given Ricky zero information about the firm. The client has not given Ricky access to the network, employees, or even the building. Ricky only knows that he's to perform a penetration test. What type of testing is most likely to be performed? Is it going to be a white box test, a gray box test, a black box test, or none of these? All right, so gang, I hope that you picked black box. All right, so black box penetration test just means that you don't have any information. You're literally going in there in the dark. You don't know anything about anything. You don't know what type of security they have. You don't know what type of parameters or boundaries that you have. You just pretty much are acting like a hacker that doesn't know anything about the company, and you try and penetrate their defenses. Jasmine is the head of a huge account for a marketing agency. She's well respected in the advertising space. She recently launched an email marketing campaign for a new fitness apparel brand. Her target market are individuals who are 25 to 35 and live in inner city New York. She segments the emails into groups. She notices that the segments she sent to Goldie's Gym had a 0% open rate. Jasmine was depending on Goldie's employees to spread the word about the new brand. What most likely is the reason no emails reach the employees? Is it because the network has IPsec-X enabled? Is it a DOS attack? Is it DNS poisoning? Or is the mail gateway recognizing the email as spam and disregarding them? All right, gang, so depending on how you have your email gateway, your email server set up, a lot of advertising and a lot of different types of emails may be looked at as spam. And these emails are being caught by the spam filter and actually going inside the spam folder. And a lot of people aren't looking inside the spam folder for these emails. So most likely, that's another thing. When you're going through the test, you got to look at those keywords. Most likely, first thing to do, last thing to do, most expensive, least expensive. Make sure that you're paying attention to that stuff when you're inside the box. Jamal has been a developer for 3 years with over 100 projects under his belt. Jamal was told that the company he works for will be going in another direction and most likely would have to part ways with him. Jamal was furious due to the company waiting until his last project was done before letting him go. Before Jamal leaves the company, he decides to leave a break in the code on the current program he is working on. This will allow him to manipulate, edit, or destroy the program at any time. What has Jamal created? So Jamal created something known as a backdoor. So literally like a backdoor. So he's pretty much created a way for him to always have access to the code, to always have access to the program or the software that he was working on. So if he gets pissed off or he wants to do something, he can always go back in there and change things or completely destroy it if he wants to. Hey gang, if you're enjoying the test prep so far, once again, make sure that you like this video, make sure you subscribe to the channel. If you don't do those two things, it's gonna be really hard for me to continue to make videos just like this one. Lenny is currently interning for a startup in Detroit. He is trying to log into the company's network portal to update several log events. Every time he enters the URL to the portal, he is routed to a site he's never seen before. The site requests credit card information. He tries the website on several other computers with the same result. What most likely has happened? So most likely what's happened is something called DNS poisoning, right? So your domain name service or domain name server is responsible for resolving your IP address to a actual name, right? So if you're trying to get to a certain website, it tries to figure out what's the IP address for that website and then it resolves it to a name. Or you can do it in reverse. it actually looks at the website name and then sees, okay, what IP address is attached to that. And then once it figures that out, it brings up the website address, right? But if your DNS server is poisoned, we can actually reroute you to different things. So you wanted to go to itmasterkey.com, but it's actually taking you to itttech.com, which you don't want to go to, right? So DNS poisoning is what's most likely happening, right? Like I said, always make sure that you're paying attention to those little nuances. As we've been going through this, as you've seen, a lot of times on the, hold on, let me preface this. These are not the actual questions that's going to be on the test. Okay, these are simulations. These are kind of like the questions. Just, I mean, I know, that's real damn dumb, but I just have to preface that this is not the real questions, right? But when you actually get inside the box, you're gonna have to really be quick with deciphering what the hell they're talking about, right? Because a lot of times, a lot of the information that's in the question, you don't necessarily need it, okay? Talking about things that you need to be in a zero to hero IT program over at itmasterkey.com. We start you off with ITF Plus, and then we run you all the way up to Security Plus, making sure that you have the fundamentals and you also have the certifications that our employers are looking for. So I don't know what you're waiting for. I'll see you in class. James works in HR on the Northeast corridor of Metroplex. This side of the building is notorious for having horrible Wi-Fi. He decides to bring an access point from home in hopes it would boost the Wi-Fi signal. He begins to plug in that access point when he's stopped by the CSO. What will the CSO most likely tell him about the AP? Would he ensure all firmware on the AP is up to date before connecting? Would he ensure that all firmware on the access point is up to date before connecting? Would he tell him rogue access points are not allowed on the company network? Would he ensure he puts the AP in a place where it will not cause interference with other devices? Would he ensure that he uses WEP with TKIP 256-bit encryption? So the CSO stands for Chief Security Officer, right? That's another thing. There's gonna be a lot of acronyms on the exam, and AP, I already said it, stands for access point. But if you didn't know those two acronyms, it might be kind of difficult. Like, who the hell is a CSO? What the hell is an AP, right? It would be kind of hard to figure out what the hell they're actually talking about. So most likely what he's gonna tell him is, hey man, you can't be bringing shit from the house and think you connected to the network, right? So the answer would be no rogue access points are allowed, right? Because we don't know what you're trying to do. We don't know if the device that you're using is secure, unsecure. Pretty much, they don't want anything that's out of compliance or could be out of compliance on their network. All right, gang, so if you really enjoyed the test prep today, make sure that you watch the video that I got linked in the description. I may put a picture up somewhere here that's going to tell you about the things that you need to do to land an IT job. All right, so that's it. That's all. I'll see you in class. Hey gang, it's Rob. In today's video, we're gonna go over some questions, some answers, and scenarios that's gonna make the test a little less scary than it is right now. So make sure that you stay around to the end of the video, and let's not waste any more time. Let's get straight into it. All right, gang. Now we're gonna get through a cybersecurity test prep for Security Plus. So the goal of this test prep is to get you a little bit more comfortable, like I said, with the actual exam. So how we're gonna do it, I'm gonna go through the questions, right? Then I'm gonna tell you what the answer is. Then I'm gonna tell you why that's the answer. But pretty much we're gonna go through all this as a family and figure it out together, okay? All right, gang, so on the Security Plus, what you're gonna expect is you're gonna have to get a 750 out of 900 to pass the exam, okay? You're gonna have a multitude of different types of questions. Some of the questions are gonna be multiple choice. Some of them are gonna be performance based. Some of them are gonna be simulations. So you're gonna have, it's not just gonna be multiple choice. It's gonna be a variation of different types of questions. And on the actual Security Plus, you'll have 90 minutes to knock out 90 questions. Now that might seem like a lot. That may seem like, I don't know if I can do that. But once you actually drill this stuff into your head, once you actually get inside of the box, especially if you're going through one of my courses, once you get inside the box, or if you go to the testing center, or if you're taking a test at home, all the stuff is going to be like second nature. And you won't even need, because if you're good at math, I know that means it's 1 minute per question. You won't even need that. You 30, 45 seconds, boom, boom, you'll be rocking through it. So when we go through these questions, don't look at how long it's taking us to go through these questions. Don't treat that as the barometer of how long it's going to take you. Because remember, we're waiting, we're explaining stuff, so on and so forth. Let's get into it. Vicky is a security specialist for an IT firm. Today, she spent most of her time reviewing server certificates. She examines a numeric string created by a certificate authority. This numeric string can represent how certificates will work with policies to control how various programs behave. Which of the following is Vicky most likely examining? Now this may be difficult, but don't worry about it. So the numerical string that she's looking at is going to be the OID. So all certificates, the digital certificates that's created by a certificate authority or a third party, come with an OID, and you can look at that to kind of see how the policies and different things are going to make whatever the application is, pretty much how that certificate is going to make the application behave. So that's what she's looking at. Okay, how is this going to affect my application? Is it going to change the behavior, or how is it going to behave, or how does it normally behave? Okay. So a test result which incorrectly indicates that a particular condition or attribute is absent. What does that best describe? So you guys are super smart. So you said false negative. A test result which inaccurately indicates that a particular condition or attribute is absent. So pretty much you say, hey man, this don't work, but it actually does work. Now if it said a test result which inaccurately indicates that a particular condition or attribute is present, then it would have been false positive. Make sense? Hey gang, do one or two things or do both of them. If you're not subscribed, subscribe. If you haven't liked this video, like this video. Donnie is the Chief Security Officer for Master I.T. He believes that Master I.T. will grow at a rapid pace for the next 5 years. He notes that the company is growing by 50 users a month. He ensures that the company is prepared for the growth by increasing laptops, servers, UTMs, employees, and real estate. What Donnie has done has improved which of the following for Master I.T.? Answer is going to be elasticity. So pretty much being able to handle the growth that's going to happen. All right, so the growth that they're expecting, he has the elasticity, elastic, being able to expand, being able to hold down all the new employees, all the new users, everybody that they're going to have. So they're planning a scale, right? So they're planning a scale. They're planning to have more and more devices, more and more people, more and more things going on. So the more elasticity you have, the more prepared you are for that growth. Make sense? All right, Jean is in the office working late. She looks around and notices she is literally the only person in the office. She attempts to access data that is above her current access level. She receives an error stating access denied, contact admin. What access control model is in effect? I made all these questions. I don't know why I said like that was a surprise, but all right. So what's in effect is mandatory access control. So with Mac or mandatory access control, you only have access to the things you need access to. You only have access to the things that you need to perform your job. With DAC or discretionary access control, you're going to have full control to whatever you have access to. So instead of having certain levels of access, you'll have full access. With Mac, you only need what you need. You don't have access to anything extra, okay? You are a web developer for a school district. You are disgruntled and decide to hack the school's homepage. You manipulate several HTML frames by injecting JavaScript code via the web browser. What type of attack does this most closely align with? Like the video, like the video, like the video. So hopefully you guys said XSS, which actually stands for cross-site scripting. All right. So if you see X, it just means cross. Cross-site scripting is what you would do to inject that JavaScript code. Cross-site scripting, also seen as XSS. As I said in other videos, why I keep on saying like these videos and subscribe and share is because that's the only way that I'll be able to continue to do these videos for you guys, right? Is if you like the video, support, and share. So if you continue to do that, it's too easy. I'll continue to make the videos. If not, next question. So this is a super duper question. Like I said in some of the other videos, this is what I like to call a bunch of shit that you don't need, right? So this is a perfect example of how to decipher the information that you need to get to the right answer. Let's get into it. The Edelman firm has been making headlines recently. The CEO has been charged with running a Ponzi scheme and stealing more than $400 million from investors. The FBI seized all laptops and computers from the firm's headquarters. A rookie agent put all the devices into a storage locker. Once Edelman's trial began, all information on those devices was deemed inadmissible. Edelman's lawyer reviewed the security tapes of the storage locker to find that it was unlocked for several days and 3 non-agents accessed the devices. What did the FBI mishandle in this case? Very good. Chain of custody. So they didn't have a proper chain of custody, pretty much meaning that they didn't know exactly where the devices was and who had the devices at every point before the trial. So the purpose of that is that if you don't have proper chain of custody, somebody could have removed data, added data, so on and so forth. So they couldn't actually use that against Edelman in the trial. And this is just a scenario that I made up. This isn't real, so don't look for Edelman. Another thing I want you guys to look at is sometimes on the exam, you will see a question this big and you'll automatically get scared. Like, oh, I ain't gonna get this right. But like I said, just look at the keywords and figure out exactly what you need to see and exactly what you need to get out of there. Because like I said, a bunch of this stuff is stuff that didn't even matter. Pretty much all you needed was from after it said the stuff was admissible, you could have got the answer just from using that stuff, okay? Jerry's drowning in college debt. To get even, he is working hard to crack the passwords to the servers of Fannie Mae. Once he cracks the servers, he hopes to wipe everyone's student debt clean. He's using huge databases of pre-computed hashes. The database's reduction functions have one color for plain text on the top and another color for the hash functions. What is Jerry using to help him crack the server's passwords? So another thing with this is keywords as well. So hopefully you guys got rainbow table. So 2 of the key things from this was going to be pre-computed hashes, which rainbow tables use, and then when they brought up the colors. So like it says, reduction functions have one color for plain text and another color for the hash function. So rainbow table would be the answer to this. Today's world is more connected than ever. Take Trevor for instance. He loves technology and wants everything connected. His smartphone is synced to his PC, which is linked to his virtual assistant, which is linked to his smart fridge. Unbeknownst to Trevor, the fridge has become a zombie. The fridge was a part of a coordinated DDoS attack to take down a popular news website. The fridge is part of the following. Choose all that apply. Very good. Hopefully you said IoT and botnet. So IoT is Internet of Things, things that connect to the internet. Botnet is part of a DDoS attack. So you have a DDoS attack, right? And all of the devices that are part of the DDoS attack are called zombies. All of the zombies make up a botnet. Make sense? All right, gang, so we rocked through the Security Plus test prep. Hopefully you feel a lot more comfortable. If you don't, oh well, I tried. So if you want to get Security Plus certified, if you're looking for some courses, if you like the way I teach, you can drop down into the description and you can roll inside of my full Security Plus course, or you can just get some more practice questions as well, depending on what you need. So make sure, like I said at the beginning, that you like, comment, subscribe, and share this video with somebody that can benefit from it. And other than that, I'll see you in class.